Hi, welcome to EndCreditReviews. On episode of Unscripted, this is Tyler from EndCreditReviews.
And Steven from Steven Lawson Studios.
Yes, and today we finally got around to reviewing the Lego Batman movie. Now I know this is one that I've kind of put off about for a long time now, but wait, what was that? Wait, I'm sorry, but there's been a mistake. The Lego Batman movie is not what we're reviewing. It is Logan. I'm sorry, this is a very embarrassing moment, folks.
Yes, very sorry about that. The We had a Steve Harvey moment there. We'll be on top of it more in the future. I apologize.
Yeah, okay. So, hi, welcome to EndCreditReviews for real. This is Tyler from EndCreditReviews on episode of Unscripted.
And this is still Steven Lawson Studios from Steven Lawson Studios.
You messed it up. You're supposed to say your first name.
Oh yeah, Steven from Steven Lawson Studios.
I'm sorry, but there has been another
There
mistake.
has been another mistake.
Yeah. So the movie we have is Logan. Now, Logan is the third installment in the Wolverine trilogy.
Standalone.
Yeah, and very much. Now our review on X-Men Origins Wolverine and The Wolverine, if you want to see our review on those movies, you can click in the description box below, the link to that. I wanted to briefly mention that can't believe I forgot to mention the whole X-Men Origins Wolverine video game.
Oh yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah, arguably better than the movie it's based off of.
Arguably, I think it was pretty concrete that it was better.
Yeah, it's one of those rare moments. Usually video game movie tie-ins are subpar,
Yeah,
but this is one where it's like, you did a really good job. You were better than the movie.
a cut above the rest.
In fact, some would argue that the graphics in that video game were better than the graphics in the movie.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
That was 360 generation, right?
Yeah, PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then some people like, oh, PC Master Race.
Master Race, boy.
Yeah.
Convert the plebs into normies.
Okay. So, Logan takes place in the future in 2029, where Logan, again, played by Hugh Jackman, is trying to get by with, I guess he's constantly drunk. He's not healing very well now because he's a lot older, and he's taking care of Professor Charles Xavier. And then apparently,
By being an Uber driver, let's add that pretty much.
yeah. So what happens is that he comes across this other mutant. Her name is X-23. I'm trying to remember what her name was in the movie.
I think it was Laura or Lauren.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember her name. But anyway, he figures out that she's pretty much a lot like him, not just in his healing factor, but also has his adamantium claws. So then it's a road trip movie where he's trying to protect her from these other government agents. And I would have to say that Logan is one. I mean, the Wolverine movies are kind of like the Captain America movies, where I felt like they gradually got better with each installment. Like X-Men Origins Wolverine was okay. I know a lot of people don't like that one, but I thought it was passable. The Wolverine was a little bit better, and this one was also better than those other two.
Sure, yeah, I would say significantly better. We may have a slight difference of opinion there, but I would say that X-Men Orange's Tangerine is called so by me for a reason. And it was okay though, kind of. And then, for the Wolverine, a slight step above, but not a whole big leap. And
Yeah.
this one was like a pole vault. Because
Yeah.
this is post Deadpool world where rated R movies are looking to be now okay as of this.
Yeah, and by the way, make sure you get there early because there is something related to that character that we just mentioned. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the one thing that everyone's going to talk about in this movie is how they take full advantage of the R rating.
Absolutely.
We finally see Wolverine slicing and dicing and hacking and ripping people to shreds with his claws. Something we've wanted to see fully done. Like, we've seen these in other X-Men movies, but they definitely did hold back with the PG-13 rating.
Absolutely.
But this one was like, okay, realism, I love it.
Me too. This was true butchery, like meat carnage. That was just great to see. Um, and from this point of not just Logan, but also the kid and other, mutants that come into play, the violent aspects were a lot better. And this felt, because of that and other reasons, significantly darker than any other, I would say, X-Men movie, period. But definitely of the Wolverine ones.
Yeah, Days of Future Past was pretty dark.
That's true. I was thinking that maybe as a um, secondary, but
Yeah. So anyway, we should also talk about the cast in the movie. The one that arguably stole the show was X-23, and who played her?
let's see here. I believe.
I would
Well,
have the IMDb up, folks, but my internet's not really working properly right now, so I'm
mhm.
relying on my friend right now to look that up on his phone.
Daphne Keene was her name.
Yeah, I think she's like a very new actress, and she was really good for a child actress, I would say. Kind of like the actress who plays the girl on Stranger Things.
Yeah, I agree. 11, you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't remember her name. It's been a while since I watched Stranger Things.
Yeah, she's 11.
Okay. Jared Fogel's like, yeah, he's just
Out of 10, that is.
yeah, he's probably listening to this in prison right now. But then again, I would kind of want him to meet X-23 because she would like seriously hack him to shreds in
Absolutely.
that.
Well put. Almost for that alone, that's gotta that's gotta be done. Just the visuals of that.
Yeah, I would watch that. I'd pay full price to see that, even if it's
Absolutely.
like 30 seconds long.
Logan visits Jared Fogle.
Well, X-23 visits Jared Fogle
Oh,
would be
yeah.
would be more fitting, I
That's
felt like.
true.
But yeah. But anyway, it's kind of interesting how she played it as a mute and that. Now, the other characters I want to talk about is the villains. There's this one guy, I'm trying to remember his name, but he had the mechanical hand. And he kind of like, had a southern accent of some kind and a gold tooth, which I felt like was kind of overdone.
It was Pierce was his name, I think.
Something like that. And who's the actor who played him?
Uh, Boyd Holbrook.
Boyd!
I'm looking at his IMDb right now, and that neck and collar, they're a little ridiculous for my taste, but
Yeah, I think originally he was one of the actors considered to play Kyle Reese in the Terminator Genesis movie, but Jai Courtney somehow got the part, and I felt like he would have been a much better Kyle Reese.
and from this picture, we should honestly post it because it looks like he also could play for the Giraffe and a Half live action.
Mm, okay. I did like his mechanical hand. The effects on that were very convincing. And then the other villain we should talk about is the doctor character who was, I guess, heading this secret company that's experimenting on mutants and that. And
Dr. Grice, I think his name was, or Rice. Let's see.
was it Richard Grant that played him?
Dr. Rice. Yes, it was Richard Grant.
And I recognize him because he played Dr. Stuart, I think, from Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. He's
And
also been in like several Doctor Who specials, I think, and he was in a great IMAX movie. No.
iMac.
Netflix, very different. There's an X on the end, and I think that's where I got confused for some reason. In this old movie Withnell and I, which is kind of a cult classic and is very much worth checking out if you haven't.
What's the movie called?
Withnell and I. It's a British movie from I think 1975ish, and
With an Eye. It kind of sounds like that parody that we were thinking with Luke called Olden Eye.
yeah, that's true of 007 in retirement age.
The villains were kind of okay.
Yeah, I agree.
They kind of took a back seat to the main heroes in that. And what was kind of depressing was that a lot of mutants were, I guess in the story there weren't too many around because I guess they started they stop being born, and then there's like a new kind of generation of mutants being harvested by the doctor, and Logan is trying to get her to this haven where there's supposed to be other mutants at. And it was kind of cool seeing these kids with like different powers, but there was one that stood out to us. I have no idea what his name was, but as soon as he came on screen, you said, the following, Steven.
What you talking about, Will?
Yeah, he looked like
that was his expression. It was literally, what you talking about, Will?
He looked like Gary Coldman from the name just left me.
That whatever that show was with the like creepy pedophile who was always touching him. I've forgotten what that show is, but
Gary Coldman. He looks like Gary Coldman. And there's a part where he was like electrocuting a car, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, is this a Static Shock?
Before the diet. Yes,
well,
absolutely.
Well, yeah, I mean,
was chubby.
There's a part where he's being chased with the other kids. These guys are like chasing the kids, and he's one of them like, yeah, he should have been caught first.
Absolutely. Fat, just jiggling.
Even people in the audience were like laughing like, yep, he's not going to make it. Yeah, I mean, we just kept laughing at those park weeks. We just kept making jokes like, what's Sean Bob Wills?
Right. I also thought it was funny when they actually got to this location where the other mutants were, the children and mutants. They were all in like a tree house practically. And Hugh Jackman or Logan, he was being raised up because he wasn't feeling well at that point. Minor spoiler there. And so he's being raised up by all these kids, and I was thinking, if I were him, where is this frickin' Neverland? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, place where the kids rule, and that's basically what that was. So.
Yeah. But again, this movie was a very sad one because, Hugh Jackman has played Wolverine forever. There is no other actor in live action that has played Wolverine, or if they have, they've never played it for this long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely would say that this film is overall a great finish, if you will, for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And it's certainly the darkest and the one we needed overall in terms of like real Wolverine character. Not afraid to butcher, just letting him have it. And that was so good to see, so satisfying.
As long as they didn't butcher the source material.
Yeah. Different types of butchering along those lines have occurred before, and that's more towards the audience, so we don't like that so much.
Yeah. So, what would you give this movie, Steven?
Well, I really liked it. I also wanted to talk about real quick, kind of how it compares to the obvious original source material being the Old Man Logan storyline within the comics. And of course, they had to get around that with basically, since he's still a Fox property, along with Deadpool and the Fantastic Four for now. They basically had to get around that difficulty. So, where was I going with this?
Originally, yeah.
Yeah, so basically they couldn't have Marvel characters in the MCU like Captain America, Hawkeye, and the Hulk, which were very integral in the Old Man Logan storyline within the comics. And I was curious if they were going to do an ending similar to the comics with... well, I'll spoil the comic for you here if you haven't.
Not really, I haven't read it, so...
You'd rather not, or
I'd rather not.
Okay. Well, basically, I'll just say it doesn't happen how it did in the comics, and that's fine in this case. I thought, and despite that crutch, they still, use some thematic elements from the comic, like I've forgotten his name, but there's an albino guy who's been in other X-Men movies, kind of as a guy who hunts, or
On the
he
comics, I don't know if he was in any of the movies.
no, he was in the movies. He was in
Which
at least
one?
Apocalypse. You remember where he the Apocalypse went up to him and was saying, "I'm seeking like your most powerful or the best among you."
Oh yeah, I remember him
So
now.
that's him. And so he's been in other things, but
Well, that's the only one.
that I can remember off the top of my head. He may have been in something else, but in any case, that's not important. What is important is he's in it, and he kind of fulfills in his role, Hawkeye's role in the original comic. Um, and so obviously there wasn't the Hulk gang, which was important in the comic, but there was kind of a second generation of the I've forgotten the strikers, you know,
People.
goons, trying to weaponize Weapon X, um, coming into play in this one, and I think that worked. It it did fall short in the area of pacing towards the end, I think, and the villains overall, just because I think overall they didn't have the rights to those properties, wasn't as strong as it could have been. But still, with that being said, it was good. And we're not mentioning a thing that is incorporated with them, but that is kind of the main physical opposition to Wolverine that is uh, very different. But I don't want to spoil. So, with that being said, I thought it was pretty strong overall, and I would say that a fair grade for this would be somewhere in the area of an 89 to a 91%.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty high.
it is. I feel that's right about where it falls in.
Okay. Personally, I did think this is definitely the best standalone Wolverine movie. I would say in that trilogy. It's debatable if I liked it as much as X-Men Apocalypse or the other, recent X-Men movies. Yeah, I mean, the pacing was a little bit off at times, like it was over 2 hours long. But yeah, there were funny moments too. The actress who played X-23 stole the show a bit at times. And yeah, I mean, I've grown up watching these movies since I was about 7. And now, being a young adult, it's, again, very sad that this is like the last movie where Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. And so yeah, it's been a very long time. So it's been over 15 years. And I would have to say that this is a movie that I would say go see it because I really appreciate that Hollywood, at least Fox, is not afraid to really make an R-rated movie and not, make it PG-13.
Yeah.
So overall, I think Logan is a really good movie. It has its problems, but I do think I would say go see it. So I would give Logan about 3 stars out of 4.
Okay, I can see that.
So anyway, this is Tyler from EndCreditReviews.
And Steven from Steven Lawson Studios.
And we hope you enjoyed this episode of Unscripted on EndCreditReviews, and we hope to make more in the future. Bye.